Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani, and glad you joined us tonight. We have a lot to get into as we get closer to the baseball trade deadline. We'll also start this week with Steelers training camp, but we have some issues regarding Le'Veon Bell, Alejandro Villanueva, and of course the trade deadline will be the #1 topic on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. The Pirates lost again today, so they're going to be 3 games back moving into San Francisco. That's our #1 topic, and here's our #1 panel. Left to right on your television screen, we have Tim Benz, DK Radio Sports, right there. In the middle is Jason Mackey, outstanding beat writer for the Post-Gazette on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Chris Mack, who's been a busy guy. Mack and Jack before and after games, and now just mac and cheese here tonight for you. That's all we got. Chris.
Cheese, Bob? Really?
Lots of cheese.
Am I that bad?
No, I'm just saying that's all we serve.
Just describing the content
just
of
because
the
I didn't
show
wear a
coming
collar, because I got the
Well,
Miami Vice look going.
You're the only one who has long pants on, too, but we won't show you that. All right, let's
Get on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. Instagram is a different story. Let's get right into it and talk about the Pirates. Now, they're 3 games back. They put a surge on, including that 4-game sweep against Milwaukee, which has fallen apart. They lost 2 of 3 to the Philadelphia Phillies this weekend. So, Chris, where are the Pirates right now heading into this deadline? And because they're 3 out, they're certainly in position to do something, but you can see them doing nothing or actually selling pieces too. I mean, all 3 are in play. What do you think will happen?
I mean, I'm not going to lose a ton of sleep over losing 2 out of 3 in Colorado. It's like playing baseball on the moon and against a team that has Blackmon, LeMay at the top of the order. You'll live with that and go on to San Francisco and San Diego, live to fight another day. Hope you could take those 2 series. I think what's interesting to me is that Neil Huntington is now presented with some different issues. Is he fully trusting of his bullpen outside of Felipe Rivero, even though Nicasio has looked good for the greater part of the year? Is he fully trusting of his rotation beyond the top 3, even beyond the top 2? Ivan Nova, not a great start today, and has been rocky for him as of late. So he's got multiple different issues to juggle here, possibly another outfielder or another everyday piece of the lineup. There's a lot of things that he could try to move, but I think there's also pieces he could. So it's kind of a cop-out, but we got to see how they do the next 4 or 5 days, the rest of this week before Monday afternoon's deadline.
I think they'd have to completely tank to have them not do anything or to start selling. I think the run through the Milwaukee series has prevented a major sell-off, meaning the Cole and McCutchen and Harrison talk that we had heard previously. I can still see them moving a Freese or a Jaso or a Tony Watson to get something else in return, perhaps all those trades commingling, but to better the team, to go after a 4th or 5th starter, to go after a bullpen arm perhaps, or if they're going to trade Watson to get that extra outfielder, especially with the questions about how long Polanco will be out. That's the big thing to me, is that they've taken off the table by their own winning, in my opinion, the need or the perceived excuse to sell off. And to Chris's point earlier, it's not that big of a deal that they've lost 2 of 3 to a potentially bound team going to the playoffs in Colorado, because they've got, I believe it is 19 games in a row now against 5 of the worst teams in baseball in Cincinnati, San Diego twice, the Giants, the Tigers, and the Blue Jays.
They have to get somebody. They have to get multiple guys. I don't see how any way that this team can have a fire sale at this point. And Chris, to your point, if you're going to fire sale and give up somebody like David Freese, to me, you're creating a problem while you're trying to fix another one. I just don't see it. I mean, you're trying to play Freese less. That's what I'd like to see them address. Yeah. Get a bat, get a corner infield spot, maybe somebody, if you're lucky enough, who can play a little bit in the outfield, because we don't know what's going to happen to Polanco. But this team has become interesting for the first time, I think, since the Penguins finished playing. They've gotten this city to pay attention to it, and there's some real excitement. You sell off everybody now, man, it's going to look bad.
What about a big deal? How about for a change, the Pirates doing something the Cubs do with Quintana, and maybe even you, Darvish, and I'm talking about addressing it in a big way by giving up prospects. We never seem to think that's something they'll do unless it's a Liriano,
salary dump.
Yeah, exactly. Save some money. So, Chris, why not do that? Why not?
I'm certainly all
try to win something here.
I'm certainly all for going after a big name, a Yu Darvish, a Sonny Gray, even a Jeremy Hellickson in Philadelphia. The catch for me, if I'm an opposing GM right now, is, oh, great, you're going to offer me Austin Meadows, who's played half the season and hit .250 the other half of the season, and Tyler Glasnow, who can't get anybody out above AAA. I don't know if they have the big pieces to move. You've got a Mitch Keller, who's a single-A pitcher right now. They don't have the kind of big pieces, unless you're looking at moving Josh Bell, which they're not going to do in a million years at this point. that are going to get you the big name unless you throw 6 or 7 players at a team. And even then, I question other GM's valuation of the Pirates system and how it jives with Neil Huntington and his team's valuation of their own system.
Yeah,
I don't know if those two things mesh right now.
One of the things this team can do best is find a player that fits into their system, to go off of what Chris is saying, just like a Jay Happ or a Von Nova, basically. Find a guy who they can work with and fit into what they do, and get somebody who's on an expiring contract. They can pay a little bit of money. They did save some money, right? They do.
Yeah.
They should have some extra cash.
Well, part of the reason they save money is because of Starling Marte. They haven't had to pay him for 80 games. And I think what might cause them to hesitate even more than the bottom line, Bob, which is the real reason why I think they won't do some of the things you're talking about, is the fact that even though this would be a move to win a division as opposed to a move to secure a wild card, which is something that Huntington has hesitated at in the past because you're just trying to best set yourself up for a one-gamer as opposed to a best-of-5, is that you won't have Marte in the best-of-5, too, if you were to be fortunate enough to get that far, because his suspension does kick back in the postseason.
And that's what's most interesting about this, guys, is Neil Huntington this afternoon saying that Gregory Polanco, and I know we were intending to get into this, but
yes,
the Gregory Polanco is week-to-week pomp. That, to me, sets it up for either looking for a second or third baseman, and you can move Josh Harrison to one of those other spots. And then if you do go out and get possibly another corner outfielder, you've got somebody to play outfield now while Polanco is out, as well as in the postseason, if you should get that far, knock on wood. But the Polanco injury has certainly thrown another wrinkle into it.
Plus, there's a lot of different verbiage on this, Jason. We've heard Clint Hurdle describe it one way. Today, Polanco told Dan Kovacevic another thing. Is it week to week? Is it day to day? There doesn't seem to be consistency on this story from their part.
Yeah, and we're operating with scant details at this point. But, to Chris's point, you can take the short term out of this, and long term, you're going to need an outfielder in the playoffs if they accomplish what they think they can do in getting there. So right now, going corner outfield shopping, whether Polanco comes back tomorrow or in 3 weeks or in a month, you still need that guy if that's your end goal. I don't have a lot of faith in the lineup that they can trot out there without Gregory Polanco if they don't do something to improve the club at this point. I think they need a bat, somebody who can play a corner outfield spot. But, yeah, I mean, we're still in the infancy of this injury. I think it's tough to put any sort of timeline on it, whether it's day-to-day, week-to-week, and project exactly when he's going to be back.
Well, another thing that was on our site today that Dan reported was that it was pretty clear that the players and maybe even the manager in the locker room weren't happy with the circumstances under which he went out of the lineup, which was a hamstring strain after he had one a couple weeks ago. It was suggested in the Post that both Hurdle and at least one unnamed veteran suggested that this was maybe a lack of conditioning issue more than just a bad break, and that's not going over very well.
Well, we'll find out. It's going to come down to it this week. Trade deadline almost here. We'll see what the Pirates do, but they got San Francisco up next. Keep in mind, San Francisco swept them in Pittsburgh before you think, oh, this is a bad team. Well, they have Bumgarner back, too, and he'll face Tyone on Tuesday night. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Steelers. They head to training camp. They have some issues, even though they seem to have just about every roster spot locked in as far as starters. But we'll talk about Le'Veon Bell and Villanueva. What will they do in terms of potentially not showing up for the beginning of camp? That's next right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.